One of Chicago's most famous roadways and the inspiration for an Aliotta Haynes and Jeremiah song might soon have a new name. Last week, a city council committee unanimously advanced a proposal that would change the name of Lakeshore Drive to DuSable Drive in honor of Jean-Baptiste Point DuSable, recognized as Chicago's first non-indigenous settler. The plan, which would apply only to the outer drive from 67th Street to Hollywood, is to move to the full city council for consideration later this month. And joining us now with more are Etzer Cantave, president of the DuSable Heritage Association, and 17th Ward Alderman David Moore, the ordinance's sponsor. Welcome both of you to Chicago tonight. First, Etzer, DuSable is a big part of the origin story in Chicago, especially for folks that watch Channel 11 that has all this great history programming about Chicago. But for those that need a refresher, remind us who DuSable was. And Etzer, you might be on mute there. I think we have you.
All right. So thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be talking about DuSable, our favorite subject. DuSable Heritage Association is a 20-year-old organization that has been dedicated to preserving the legacy of Jean-Baptiste Point DuSable, the Haitian-born founder of Chicago. He was born in St. Mark, in the colony of Saint-Domingue around 1745. At the age of 25, around that age, he migrated to the United States. And first he landed in New Orleans, and later on he found his way in Peoria, where he settled for a while. And he purchased land there. And but as the situation was changing politically, he found it safer to move upward and up north. And he landed in the Great Lakes region in Chicago, in East Chicago at that time. That place was called. And he established himself there. And with the community that he founded with his wife, Kitty Hawa.
And I want to get more into that because his wife was indigenous and native to this area in these swampy marshlands of Lake Michigan, Stinking Onion, or whatever, whatever Chicago meant. Alderman Moore, Mayor Lightfoot has talked about potential other tributes to DuSable, like naming the Riverwalk after him, naming that little park right by Lakeshore Drive after him. Why is Lakeshore Drive the right monument to rename after DuSable?
First of all, let me say the mayor's vision and what she's doing is a great compliment to the renaming of Lakeshore Drive, the outer drive, to DuSable Drive. And it's a great compliment, and I thank her for that. But the reason why you have to do that, I tell people I can count the number of times on one hand that I've been to the Riverwalk. Probably some of the residents in my community can count them on no hands. Maggie Daly Park is one of my favorite parks, and I can count the number of times I've been over there. Also, in my community, they can probably count the number of times, no times. What this does, it does two things, well, several things, but it connects the south and the north side, and just the whole entire Chicago. So if somebody's coming from the north and they see DuSable Drive, it raises those questions. Who is DuSable? And then it pushes them, because there's people up north don't even know about the DuSable Museum. And then for the people that's coming from south to north, it will connect them to that Riverwalk as they get to know more about DuSable when they're driving it. And so that it connect them to that Riverwalk. It'll connect them to that park. But more than anything, it's that educational piece. Paris, when I introduced this back in 2019, the number of youth from both Powell Elementary School, Stagg School, and I'm sure some other schools, but those are the two calls that I got, who got so interested in this and saying, I did not know that a Black man from Haiti was the founder of Chicago. That's more important to me than anything.
And Alderman Moore, what about some of the concerns, though, with Lakeshore Drive? It's such a internationally known and recognized brand connected to Chicago that it might confuse folks. It might confuse tourists.
No, not at all. And those are the misnomers. Number one, it's just like the Dan Ryan. You know, we've changed the Bishop Ford. I had to have a thought process to remember what the expressway was called before it was Bishop Ford. And I said, oh, it was the Calumet Expressway. So no difference. But it's like when we try to change things, that gets pushed back when there's people of color, when we're trying to recognize them throughout the city. And so it won't confuse people, because just like when you get off the Dan Ryan, you're still at Wentworth, you're still at Wales. When you get off the Outer Drive, you'll still be on Lakeshore Drive. So
all right, and I want to get back to the distinction between outer and inner for a second. But Etzer, you were starting to talk about DuSable's indigenous wife. Tell us a little bit more about her and how she'll be honored as well.
Well, and so DuSable married Kitty Howard, and she's a Potawatomi Indian. They married first into a Potawatomi ceremony, and later on they renewed their vow in a Catholic ceremony. So there was a partnership between the two of them, and so they worked together. And there is a history that not well known in the city, is that at some point during his journey, DuSable was arrested and imprisoned by the British because they suspected him of sympathizing with the Americans. So so they captured him and they put him in jail in Michigan for a year. And after that year, the Indian Chippewa, they descended on the fort, and they demanded that the British release.
Etzer, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you. It's a fascinating story, but we're just about out of time here. And Alderman David Moore, we have a couple seconds. Just tell us, will inner Lakeshore Drive still be called Lakeshore Drive and outer Drive be called DuSable?
That is correct.
So that's the way the ordinance is now.
That's the way. So there's no addresses are affected. The only thing that is affected are the 3 or 4 harbors along the outer drive.
Got it. All right. Well, our thanks. It's a fascinating history. Our thanks to Etzer Cantave and Alderman David Moore.
Thank you so much.